Hi everybody, welcome back, glad you could tune in again. Okay, so today what we're going to do is first keep it shorter than yesterday. My apologies for that, that was too long. Today we're going to try and keep it down. Second, we're going to tackle two technical terms which are sometimes used in connection with discussions of the doctrine of the Trinity. And then third, I'm going to give you one illustration which I think helps us to understand these technical terms, or rather what they actually mean, what they're getting at. The two technical terms I have in mind are perichoresis and circumcision or circumincession. They both mean roughly the same thing. One is from a Greek background, the other from a Latin background. And they refer to what sometimes in English, helpful place to start, in English we call the mutual indwelling of the members of the Trinity. Mutual indwelling is quite a difficult thing for us to get our heads round. What it refers to is the fact that, as we observed a couple of times previously, the Father and the Son and the Spirit all fully possess everything that it is to be God. It's not that there's a God here and there's a Father bit and a Spirit bit and a Son bit and they've all got a third of God. Rather, there's one God, and the whole of what it is to be God, the whole divine nature, is entirely possessed and exhibited and enjoyed by Father, Son and Holy Spirit, which must mean that they, so to speak, occupy the same space. They don't sit next to each other, they are in one another, they mutually indwell one another, and Jesus indeed says exactly this: I am in the Father and the Father is in me. So, how do we understand mutual indwelling? How do we understand perichoresis or circumincession? And part of the problem here is, if we try to think about two things occupying the same space, we either end up saying, well, it's not possible, because you've got this, and they bump into each other, they can't occupy the same space, or we end up thinking, well, they do occupy the same space, and they kind of blend together into a sort of mush. It's either like oil and water, which don't mix at all, or it's like lemon juice and lime juice, squeeze them both into a jug, and you mix them around, and you've got another thing which is lemon juice and lime juice, and that's not lemon juice or lime juice, it's a mixture, which is different, and you don't want to go doing that with God because you don't want to go changing him. So how do we understand mutual indwelling in a way that gets around these problems? Either things bumping into each other, or things getting squirged together so they turn into something else. The answer is music. This analogy for the triune character of God has been explored a fair bit in recent years, most notably by a contemporary theologian called Jeremy Begbie. Peter Lighthart has picked up on some of his insights in a book that he wrote a couple of years ago, Traces of the Trinity. It's there in Jonathan Edwards, there are hints of it in Athanasius and elsewhere. And music, it turns out, is a wonderful analogy for how things can mutually indwell one another without being distorted by one another. Because music is not material. So much of our thought is predicated on concrete ideas, physical ideas, material ideas, and so we end up with a messed up picture of God because we start off by implicitly imagining there's a kind of material stuff that God is made of, and we can't work out how to get three bits into one bit without squirging them together, or they exclude each other. But with music, you can do something different. If you're a pianist, this is a particularly easy and intuitive illustration to grasp, but all of us can get some sense of it if you're willing to tolerate my singing. And the way that it would work is you've got to imagine me singing one note like this, la, and then another note like this, la, and then another note like this, la, 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 3 notes. And then you have to pause the video and go find yourselves 2 other people to sing 2 of the other notes, and you sing the first one. So just pause the video now and sing la, 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 and if you're in a house where there's more than 2 of you, then you'll be able to do this together. You'll be able to have those 3 notes going at the same time. Pause the video and try it now. Okay, so you pause the video. What did you notice? did you notice that those three notes are all discernible? You can hear the la, you can hear the la, you can hear the la. They're distinct and different. And yet, nonetheless, they occupy the same space, don't they? They're filling the room in which you're sitting or standing, or they're filling the space in which you are located. Somehow, with music, we can get past this problem of either blurring things together so that they change, or things excluding one another. And that's a wonderful image of the Trinity, because we want to say that the Father and the Son and the Spirit mutually indwell. They perichoretically inhere in one another. They occupy the same space, not that it is space, but they occupy the same space in the Godhead. And so they share fully in all that it is to be God. And yet at the same time, we don't want to say that it's like lemon juice and lime juice, where you mix them together and you get something altogether different. The Father, the Son and the Spirit retain their integrity as Father, Son and Spirit, even while they indwell one another in this way, like a musical chord does. Da, da, da. And with apologies for my singing, I think we will call a halt to this devotion at this point. And I hope that illustration has helped you a little bit to appreciate that aspect of what it is for God to be triune. Look forward very much to seeing you soon, I hope. Bye for now.